All right, YouTubers, I got the track all leveled out yesterday. Level this way and level this way. So that's all laid out there. Got some of the brackets here. The rest of the brackets are over here in my pickup truck. But brought the saw head up here today, and I'm gonna start tipping this thing over. This is the Woodland Mills HM126-14. So we're going to undo this bolt right here and this bolt right over here. We're going to lay this thing over. I've got some extra 6-inch blocks over here. I got some more over there next to my little log pile that I've got over there. And I'm going to put this thing together right here, and then this will give me plenty of room to pick it up and then back in over here to drop it down onto the saw rails over here in the saw bed. So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited. I'm hoping Sunday maybe I could cut my first log. So we'll see what happens here. But this is my Woodland Mills sawmill. I'm very excited to get this thing up and running. And the way they package this up, it's in this steel crate with cardboard inserts going all the way around it and everything. I undid these 2 bolts on the outsides that go right here and here, but the problem is it's welded in down here, so you can't, unless you want to just cut that with a cutting wheel or whatever. I'm just going to lay them over, and then I'll lay the sawmill head over. I'm going to put some cardboard down over the top so it doesn't get scratched up. Okay, so I've got it laid over now. The front is on the other side here. This back engine bracket right here that the engine is bolted to just rests on this during transportation. So now I think at this point I'll put 3 layers of cardboard down here. I'm going to pick up this skid just a little bit with the forks and the tractor and try to pull this out, and it should just come right out. That's my hope, and then I'll just be left with the sawmill sitting right over here, and then I can start putting it all together. Okay, so we got the 2 back posts, and these are going to slide through these little holes right here. Now when you slide these in here, what you want to make sure you do is have these 2 wider holes that are spaced out farther than those 2 holes at the bottom of the bandsaw. Here's the bandsaw blade right here. So you want to make sure those are at the bottom and they're turned this way, not that way. You want them this way. Slide it in this way. Leave these here. This is where the bracket's going to butt up to, and then this is going to stand back over this way. So we're going to get started on that right now, sliding those in. Okay, so you can see I've got the posts in here now. Once again, I got the wide ends with the 2 holes down on this end. The shorter holes that are going to go up there to the top where the bracket mounts, those go up top. This is the bottom of the sawmill right here, okay? So make sure you put the bolts in from the insides going outwards. You're going to use these bolts right here, the 14 by 12 by 80 millimeter. You're going to use 4 flat washers and 4 of these nuts. We're on this stage right here, okay? This is the carriage legs we're putting together right now. It says the post should be pushed all the way up until the carriage plates contact the post sleeve. So once we get these tightened down, I'm going to tighten these 4 bolts down right now, and then we're going to push these all the way up. Actually, what I'm going to do is pull the sawmill back this way to the edge of this wood so that this here comes into contact with this right here. That's where you want to be at this point right here. So I'm going to tighten these up real quick, and then we'll get to the next step. You want to make sure that your wheels are on the inside, not on the outside. Obviously, if I took this one and stuck it over here and this one and stuck it over here, the wheels would be on the outsides. You want the wheels on the insides. All right. All right, so now it's time to work on these rear posts. The others were the front posts. I'm going to work on these rear posts, and those are going to bolt right in to these holes on the back of the brackets, the rail brackets that have the rollers on it. So we're going to go ahead and put the carriage bolts in there right now. We are on this step right here, rear posts. So we're going to use those 80 millimeter hex bolts, locking nuts, flat washers again, and the rear posts. Those will go in right here. It looks like we're just putting in 2 bolts right now. So We got to make sure that these extra holes here are on that side for the push handle, which they are. See over there, there's 4 holes, and over here there's just 2 holes. So that goes over there, the push handle's on that side. Okay, YouTube, so I'm out here today, Saturday, I think it's the 9th or 7th, it's December 7th, Saturday, and I'm working on the sawmill again, and I got a little hung up putting the sawmill together. The instructions aren't real clear when you start putting the pulley wheels together that lift and lower the saw blade itself. So if you come over here to the drawing that comes with the sawmill, you can see it shows you a kind of an exploded diagram of what goes in there and stuff, and that, but it's not super clear, especially when you get down here to where the dashboard's going to go. It's called the dashboard. It bolts into these 4 holes on each side, and then there's a pulley with double wheels on it and too. So that confuses me a little bit too. So I called up Woodland Mills. Customer service is amazing with Woodland Mills. I mean, I spent maybe a minute or 2 on hold waiting for someone to answer, and then I probably could have talked to the guy the rest of the day. He was that helpful. But anyway, I asked him, can you just give me, like, because the diagram, especially when we get to the dashboard, doesn't even show you what goes where and stuff. So he said, yeah. So here's this hole here. I've already got this one in on this side. But then here's the other one, and this here you can see pretty well. So if we come over here, for these pulley wheels that this stainless steel cable is going to run to, and then I'm assuming it goes down here, and this is what hooks up to this down here. It'll come up here and come over the top. The bolt goes in through this way. You put a flat washer in there. Then it comes out on this side. You put this little spacer right here in there. Then the pulley wheel, then a flat washer, then the nut. This is how this side goes. I've got to do the same thing over on this side right over here. Okay, so I've got it in here. The bolt, this is the bolt. It goes through here, through a flat washer, okay? After it comes through the flat washer, it comes out this side, goes through this bracket, which is going to be for your log chart. We'll mount right up here. And then it comes, we got the little spacer. I don't know if you can see that right there. That little spacer right there goes in there. Then the wheel. Then there's a flat washer right there. And then a nut. So I got this one in. I've got this other one in right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten these up just a little bit. Just not super tight, but just tight enough to get these in where they're supposed to be. And then we'll start working on some of these other ones. All right? Okay, so I've got this all bolted up now. It's not tight, but it's snug, so it's firm. You can see this turns very freely. I've got this all over here bolted up proper. This turns very smoothly too. All right, I've started to put on the dashboard here. That's what this is called right here. This is the dashboard, and then this bolt here. Here's the pulley wheel that will attach to the lift mechanism to lift this saw head up. I've got that attached. Everywhere where there's a nut touching, you put a washer there. So there's a washer. Okay, same thing up here. Wherever there's a nut, there's a washer on the other side. And it looks like I might be missing a washer right there. So I'll come back and get that one. Looks like I've got them all over there. All right, but I did that the other day before I knew that. And same thing over here. I've got a nut and a washer on everything. So that's the plan. Here we got washer. So right now I'm getting ready to install the lift mechanism, which is this right here. So, all right, so I'm running out of light right now, and I've been working on this. I started to put on the auto lube system, but I gotta be honest with you, it was asking me to drill a hole in a bracket, and the spring was way too tight to get it to move enough where I felt like I could honestly drill a straight hole through there for the spring to hook on, so that when you engage the throttle, the auto lube system automatically starts the water. So for right now, I'm just gonna run it manually, and we'll see how that goes. I do have the tank on now. I've got the lubrication all hooked up from the tank. It comes through here, comes down here, into here. For now, I'll have to turn it on, turn it off when I'm done with my cut, okay? I've got the handle on. I have the tubing routed down and through the pillow block down there and out to the front where the little copper tubing drips it onto the blade right there. I put the scale on here. I haven't tightened everything up just yet. There's 2 nuts down there that need to be tightened up, and I'm not sure exactly. I think I gotta tighten this up a little bit so it's not rattling around. So, but I'm not there yet. I just threw it on there right now. This is where I'm gonna stop for tonight. I'm gonna lock everything back up and get back at it tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow, the goal is to get this sitting over there on there. Okay, the Ford 3000, it did what it had to do. We had to back around this way with the head. I had to level out this little dirt pile that I had here, sand pile, from scraping this out. I had to set the head up on these 8 blocks right here, just to get it up high enough so that I could lower the chain through these eyelet here to get lower to it so I could get higher up on here. Okay, here we are. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon now. I got out here about 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning. I've got the sawmill up on the carriage now. I've got the all the latches on. There's one up here. There's 2, one on each side down here. I've got the blade leveled off to the bottom bunk here. Right here, it's the same here as it is over here. So I've got that all. I had to take the blade off in order to get these little nuts in here, screws and nuts in there, and also to get to the ones in the bottom down here. I put oil in the engine. I don't have gas in here yet because I want to run pure marine gas in here. No gas in here whatsoever. I have not filled up this tank yet, water tank with dishwashing soap and all that kind of stuff. Woodland Mills. I mean, it wouldn't be very expensive to put a couple of little extra nuts in here because the throttle assembly, when I took it out of the packaging that it was wrapped in, it only had 1 nut. So one of the other nuts must have fell out during transportation. So I have the bolt, but I don't have the nut that goes on the other side right here. So I'm gonna give Woodland Mills a little knock for that one because, I mean, in all honesty, how much extra would it cost to just throw in a couple of these little nuts and a couple of these little bolts and stuff? Then I got to tighten all these up because, see, I'm not pushing hard at all. I mean, I'm barely pushing here. The mill slides perfectly to the end. If we go back this way, I'll push up here on the head up here. It just rolls perfect. So I think we're good to go. Good morning, YouTubers. Another day, and I'm out here at the property finishing up getting this thing all set up here. I've got all these carriage bolts tightened down for the framework, so they're all tight now. I've got the dashboard all tight. Everything's tightened down. The only one I forgot to look at was this one right here, but I already had that one tightened down. I've got oil in the engine. Got a little confused. There's an oil fill here. There's also an oil fill over on that side. So they both go to the same thing. So this one here is the one I filled. It's easier to get to. There's less in the way than over here, obviously. I've got all the little brackets on. There's 2 on the bottom and 1 up here, and then this little knob here to hold the blades closed. I haven't tensioned the blade yet. I've measured. I'm at just under 15/16 off the bottom deck there. So I'm getting ready to start this up. It's never been started before. So Kohler 14 horsepower engine on this. That's the biggest engine you could get for this right here. And I think I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to start it up and just see what it sounds like. So here we go. Wish me luck. I will set you guys right here on the tailgate. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so I've got engine on. I've got choke on. Since it's never been started before, I'm going to give it a pull. See what happens. Yeah, almost started. I cut the choke back a little bit. Put the choke completely off. Choke is completely off right now. Doesn't sound too bad to me. Sounds really good. Here's where your exhaust comes out, blows upwards this way. Overhead valve. There's your cylinder. Spark plug, easy to get to. Very easy to get to. Really good. Alright, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to torque down the blade. Alright, I got the blade torqued down to 25. So I've never pulled on the throttle here. Let's see what it gets up to. Spinning there. Okay, so week after Thanksgiving, 80 degrees down here. Use the skidding tong or the log tongs to lift this log up in the middle. I got really lucky. I decided that somewhere just on the left of this like little bump right here was where the center point was going to be, and I picked that thing up and it just perfectly balanced out. Thicker down there, thinner down there. So I went just a little bit low there. It worked out perfect. I got the log locks locked in. I'm using, since this is just a little tiny log, I mean it's like maybe 6 inches or 8 inches across there. I'm just using the short little ones. I'm going to cut my first cut right across the top of that and see what happens. Do you want to see the first cut? First cut ever on this sawmill.